All right. In this week of like weird woke Western subversions, like I've already talked extensively about how ridiculous that like Tolkien inventing the concept of fantasy is. I've spoken at length about that. I feel very strongly about that. That's something I've spoken out before. But what's equally ridiculous, actually, no, this is even worse. What's even worse than this is the weird propaganda that's been circling in online spaces lately. The idea that everything is secretly D&D influenced. Okay, I've spoken how how in the video game community the narrative is that like Ultima influenced everything, which is like pretty ridiculous in general. But like when it comes to like general fantasy concepts, the narrative seems to be that D&D influenced everything, which again is unbelievably retarded. It really should be called out for what it is. Like, this is just so transparently fake and gay that it should really be addressed. So what exactly are they trying to accomplish here, right? D&D, much like Ultima, is a woke brand. It's a woke, westernized, like, fantasy brand that the wokies think they can use to weaponize culture, okay? So this highly successful, influential fantasy thing is woke, so that means we as a society should be more woke, is kind of their mindset on this. So when it comes to Ultima, when it comes to D&D, what they try to do is to paint this idea that like, oh yeah, like every fantasy story today is influenced by D&D. Yeah, everything's just trying to be like D&D because it's such a popular thing and it's such a big deal. And obviously that's retarded. Plenty of fantasy writers don't play D&D. I don't play D&D. I'm not influenced by D&D at all. Like, D&D is just based off of like generic fantasy concepts. Tolkien stuff. Okay, it is not that engaging. It's not that fresh, original, or exciting. And the idea that like fantasy writers are like basing books off their campaigns is just completely retarded. Like, maybe hacks like Brandon Sanderson do that, but I don't. Okay, like the reality is D&D hasn't influenced shit. It has been an absolute disaster in the world of fantasy. To act as if like we are like primary influenced by a fucking board game instead of our own imaginations and our own life experiences. Okay, I find this like disgusting. It is embarrassing, and it's very, very interesting to see like how desperate the D&D fans are to be taken seriously. Because like I believe that like the Satanic Panic never actually happened. Looking at like the people who like spout this story and like posit this nonsense, who like share their stories of like, oh, Christians don't want us to play our game. It's like, I think that didn't fucking happen. Okay, like I've looked into it a little bit, and I just feel like, yeah, this didn't happen. Like, this did not happen. You guys are playing victim for being weird, creepy fucks, like playing games in a basement instead of like having real lives, essentially. Like, D&D, it's very interesting how they try to meme themselves into like cultural relevancy. They really, 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 really want themselves to be taken seriously. They really want to think that they're like having an impact on the world, that they're doing something, that like what they do matters, that like it's the most fun they'll ever have in your life. It's like, it's a cult, essentially. And you kind of do get this like kind of cultish like vibe if you like interact with these people at all. Like you see how they try and like, you hear these weird stories about people playing games and then trying to like get people to like role play in like weird sexual scenarios and all that. Like you hear these stories, you hear like how all of this plays out, and it really does feel as if it's like some weird communal like commie propaganda nonsense. Okay, it's just unbelievably cringe, and it really should be called out for what it is that this is something that feels as if it only has relevance because of the association with like countercultural stuff in the 80s, okay? Like, D&D in and of itself is not influential. It's not popular. It's not something anybody cares about. It's not something that, like, I want to play or hear about. And it's certainly not influencing, like, fantasy writers. Okay, do you think, like, Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were, like, playing games with the English? No, of course fucking not. Okay, like, D&D is just, like, it's very observable just how depraved and insane the average D&D player is. Like, if you interact with these people, like, you can see just how playing this game is damaging to them as people, how it shapes their entire identity, how they seriously have this weird worldview. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to this chick. I'm gonna roll a 20 on my charisma. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, the D&D cringe is just off the charts. It is just unbelievable how, for most people, that they don't understand that D&D is just like, it's just something that exists, okay? It's not special, it's not important, it doesn't mean anything culturally. It's just something that, for whatever reason, like, wokies have latched onto and have tried to make into a pop culture phenomenon in order to better influence, like, fiction, which wokesters know is their primary form of propaganda, right? If they think that if they can gaslight you into thinking D&D has influenced modern fantasy, that means that D&D's woke policies will, like, seep out into the mainstream and become accepted worldwide. That's not going to happen. Okay, like, these methods don't work, but wokies don't realize they don't work, and yet they're still trying to, like, push through these ideas and these philosophies into the mainstream using these methods, and all of it is completely collapsing. People are calling them out on it. People who have nothing to do with D&D are noticing these things and calling it out for what it is. Like, this is unbelievably insane. Like, the lengths that these individuals will go to try and make their nonsense be well received and popular, you know. Baldur's Gate 3 is probably like the video game equivalent, because, you know, that was straight up a D&D property. You know, like, the reason that game was hyped so much was to try and influence people to think D&D was, like, better than other fantasy franchises, but it's not. Like, that's just the simple reality of it, is that it's not. You know, D&D got mogged by Zelda, it got mogged by Mario, it's gonna get mogged by, like, you know, all these upcoming games. Like, there's so much to look forward to from real video game developers that a cheap video game adaptation of D&D is just not something that anybody cares about or wants to see. And that becomes more and more evident all the time. It is only a matter of time until the general public, like, speaks out and say they are sick of these D&D inspired plots and these D&D inspired mechanics. Right? It is only a matter of time until a real serious backlash hits the game, its fans, and its developers. And from then on, the world will move on to better fantasy.